No matter where I go in the world, the sound of the ocean will always bring me home. But there's something different about landing here, stepping out onto my deck of this cute, quaint little beach house on this coast of New Zealand. Something special lies here and has taken up deep roots in my bones that I don't think I'll ever be able to shake. Coming back home, I have landed back into a place of devotion with myself. And part of this devotion is showing up every morning in clarity, in presence, and in ease. Coming back home, I realized that there were a lot of choices I was making last year that was taking me out of that, knowing that it is the small little rituals and routines that go on to make the biggest change. I've been spending my mornings cultivating the devotion, the discipline, the dedication, the peace and the ease that I want to welcome into all areas of my life. Taking the first few moments of my day to breathe in the ocean air, to have some morning stretchies, and to sit in stillness and silence with myself in meditation. So I've been really trying to refine my morning and evening rituals so they really support me to make the highest choice and show up for myself in truth, in presence, in surrender, and in devotion. On the days where I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of extra time, I also have been really loving sitting down with my morning coffee and reading some sacred text. This always pulls me straight away into this devotion and this dedication and sets me on the trajectory for where I want my day and my life to lead. Good morning. I feel so good to be back home. We've actually been home for a while. It's now like end of February. Fully settling back into some semblance of a routine. Feeling a lot more clarity around this year. That trip away was exactly what I needed to just really re-land back into myself and back into what's important to me. Just how I want to step more into this year with clarity and focus and devotion. I was so burnt out last year, like really at the end of my tether. And when I went away, I kind of realized that I was doing a lot of things that aren't leading me towards where I want to go. Something that that has been really important for me to bring back in is my rituals in the morning, and just making sure that I am stepping into each day from a place of clarity and truth, and stepping into each day how I want to step forward into my life with devotion, with discipline, and with peace and ease. So I've been making an effort to stretch in the mornings and to meditate every morning. And I've also started spending the first hour or so of my day reading sacred text, as well as closing my day with it. So in the evenings, I'll also read. And I'm finally finishing Awakening Shakti, this book I have been moving through in the last couple of years now. With these kind of books, I always find that there's naturally moments where I just need to put them down, and that I just I don't read it. And so it's been a solid couple of months that I haven't picked this book up again, and it's always so fascinating to me when I do, because it happened with when I read The Woman Who Ran with the Wolves when I was in my early 20s, so 10 years ago. I remember reading that book, and it took me a solid 5 years to read it. From 21 to 25, I was reading that book, because I would put the book down and I wouldn't touch it for months, and then I'd come back to it, and the chapter that I would read would be perfect and exactly what I needed to hear for that particular moment of my life. And the same thing has happened with this book time and time again. I picked it back up, and where I had left off came back, and it was Sita, which is the goddess of devotion and mystical submission, which is just kind of perfect for everything I've been saying about, stepping more into devotion. Mystical submission, in the sense of like handing my life over to the divine, has been a theme that's been coming up a lot for me recently. Instead of me getting so in my head and so in my self about feeling like I need to create this big life for myself, instead, I've been finding a real beautiful solace in just this submission over to the divine of like, let my life be your creation. Relief, because sometimes I can just feel kind of overwhelmed by life, and I think part of me moving through that overwhelm is just leaning more into support from the divine, and feeling like I can just kind of surrender into it. And as long as I'm settling into my heart every day and moving from a place of truth, which isn't always the easy option, stepping into truth and taking action where I feel that pull, that desire, that call to inspiration, even if it means I'm moving through fear, and just surrendering over to the divine and being like, through this surrender and through me stepping into what it is that you're presenting me, let me move through anything that needs to be cleared, let me move through anything that needs to, that I need to move through in order to fortify me and to give me the courage and the discipline and devotion that I need to become who I need to be to live the life that you have planned for me. I'm reading this book again and getting hit chapter after chapter with just like, oh yeah, this is why I took pause from reading this, because I was not ready to read this last year. I'm ready to read it now though. This morning I've been reading Bhuvaneshwari, which is the goddess of infinite space, she whose body is the world. I am going to go have a shower now and do a little dry brushing routine. It's a beautiful day, and I have some classes that I would like to get filmed today. I just need to overcome a little bit of the procrastination that is a big obstacle for me, is this constantly putting off and just stepping in and doing the damn thing. I'm going to finish drinking my coffee and then have a shower and then step into this day with devotion and surrender. Another way that I am just welcoming in a lot more presence and peace into my morning and evening routines is not necessarily changing anything about the routine itself, except just the level of sanctity or sacredness that I give it. So for instance, just taking a shower, I love to light candles, get ambient music and lighting, and just make the whole experience feel sacred and more profound. The act of having a shower is such a mundane part of a morning routine, but there's ways that you can, make it feel more romantic and beautiful and present. I got bangs put in and we went a little bit fuller. I love it, but in the morning, before I can get my hair curler on it, it looks a little bit insane. I look a little bit crazy. I've also been trying, and I really stress the word trying, to re-fall back in love with cooking and preparing meals for myself. If you have gone through a period of apathy or depression, I was in a pretty big hole of it last year, and just the energy of getting up was all I could muster some days. So I fell out of love with cooking, and I know that I've been neglecting this part of my health for a wee while now, and so I really want to just fall back in love with nourishing my body and preparing meals for both me and Daniel, and just pouring more love into this part of my well-being. I think I also need to just remind myself that it doesn't have to be super complicated or super fancy, it doesn't have to look pretty, but I really like just making some simple meals that make me feel well-fed and fueled and like I'm taking care of myself. Another aspect of this as well is tending to my external environment and staying on top of chores and doing my part with keeping the house clean and tidy. I feel like this really overwhelmed me a lot last year, and something that's been really helping is to just be congruent and cohesive with what I say and what I do. So making the statement of I'm going to do the washing and just following through and doing the washing and not taking on too much at a time to the point where it overwhelms me, but just keeping it really manageable and really doable so I can stay coherent with what I say and what ends up coming to fruition.
We are going to start today's class in a cross-legged position, placing your hands softly on your thighs, and then whenever you're ready and feel safe, go ahead and close your eyes now. And then placing both of your palms on top of your heart, feeling the connection there. Release your palms down to your thighs and begin to find some gentle touch with your fingertips on your thighs as you simultaneously begin to draw half circles. And if at any point you want to pause with your head because heart, then begin to lean over towards your left side, feeling an even deeper stretch in the right side of your body. Reach it through underneath your left shoulder. Inhale, reach it up, moving like this once more in the rhythm of your own breath, releasing a little bit deeper.
I went up to my parents' place 2 weeks ago. My mum is always like, she's my go-to girl for any home remedies, natural remedies. Anytime I'm up there and she's got a new thing, I'm like, ooh, what is this? And last time I was up, she gave me a foot rub and she was like, oh, let me get the castor oil out. And so she gave me a castor oil foot rub and it was so nice. And I ended up using it like all on my legs, lathering myself in it in the evening and going to sleep in it. It felt so good. And I know it's a bit of like a trend at the moment, I think. Like I see a lot of people doing like castor oil patches and whatnot, but I just really love it as like a little moisturizing situation. And yeah, so I'm just doing a real little dry brush. I'm not going super hard on the dry brush, just get the little dead skin flakes off, and then I'm gonna do like a full body castor oil up. I have been doing it but leaving it a little bit too late in the evening, and then I go to sleep, and when I get into the sheets I just don't like the feeling of like it's sticking to me. Sun's coming out. I don't like the feeling of like my sheets sticking to me, so I wanted to do it relatively a little bit earlier so that it's got time to soak in. Got a local one in Auckland from Pure Nature. It's pretty good. I ideally would like to get it in a glass bottle because I don't really like buying anything with plastic bottles, but it's really thick and I just lather my whole body in it. I'm just a dry skin girly in general, and I just used it on like my hands and on my feet and on my legs, and when I woke up the next morning, I just felt like so moisturized and hydrated, and like it soaked up into the skin really nicely. I've been really just enjoying the ritual as well. Massaging my body in the evening, giving it some love. Sometimes I'll have mantras, like while I'm like rubbing my legs, praying thanks over them and being like, thank you for giving me strong legs that lets me walk up mountains and explore this beautiful world. Thank you for giving me arms that I get to like hug and hold my loved ones. It's like a really nice little ritual to give thanks to a body, to show it some appreciation and some love, and the added lymphatic drainage with the dry brushing and a little bit of self-massage is also just really nice. I bought this Militaire hydrating mask just at the apothecary in Christchurch. I just wanted a mask that felt hydrating, and it was like hydrating mask. There we go. I had very little expectations of this. This is my second bottle. I ran out when I got back, and I was like, I need it in my life. I cannot go without it. But it's this beautiful cream face mask, and I literally lather this thing on like every single night. I do a really thick patch under my eye. I'm really struggling here because usually I do this up against a mirror, but I do it underneath my eye and out to the corner and then up here, because I find this is where I feel my wrinkles that are forming sitting, is like along this outer part of my brow and then around my eye. I truly feel like this mask has made them so much less deep and just overall makes my skin feel well fed and hydrated. Main ingredient is aloe vera, and then it's got rose, floral water, barge seed oil, cucumber extract, green tea extract, Manuka honey, vitamin E. The ingredients list, when I read it, that sounds like everything my skin is thirsty for. And I'm obsessed with it. I put it on every single night. I usually will leave it on for as long as I can. Some nights I've even gone to sleep wearing it because I put it on really thick so you can like see it on my face. And then after leaving it on for an hour or so, maybe even a few hours, it goes like completely translucent. If I put it on and then sleep with it on, in the morning I wake up and I can still kind of feel like a soft like cream on my face. And especially when I go to wash it off, I can feel it on my face when I wash it off, but it feels like fully soaked in, if that makes sense at all. If I literally could only do one thing with my skin, it would be this. I'm so obsessed. And then I'll often just like take what's residual on my fingertips and drag it down my neck and on my chest as well. But I've got the castor seed oil on my neck, on my chest, so I might just leave that like that. But yeah, I might just go have a look in the mirror because I've actually no idea what this looks like because I've never done it in a viewfinder before. But then this is just going to sit on my face for the rest of the evening. Nelly Tier New Zealand Hydrating Face Mask. It works, I'm telling you. Okay, we are creamed and oiled. I'm just gonna wait for everything to soak in. I am just a sponge. I think my evening routines have been probably one of my favorite times in the entire day. Just really loving this kind of cocooning energy. I think when it gets towards the end of summer, I always feel myself really naturally starting to begin the process of wanting to like tuck myself away and restore energy. I think I really enjoy the falling into autumn and winter. My evening routines have been very much this moment where I really drop into care for myself. I've been spending it a lot of the time reading and journaling. So I'm about to do a little bit of journaling now, and then I might read a few more pages of Awakening Shakti. And also I recently got a Kindle. I really love physical books. That's why it's taken me so long to get a Kindle. So obsessed with this thing. When I bought it, I didn't get a case for it, and I'm kind of regretting it now because I kind of want to get a case for it because I literally bring it with me everywhere. And I'm currently reading a book called, hold on, let me see if I can find it. How do I exit? I still feel like I'm figuring this thing out. Okay, wait. How do I go to menu? Oh my god, I feel like such a boomer right now. Anyway, I can't figure it out. Get a new piece of technology and read the current book that I'm reading. I don't know how to navigate around it though, but I really rate a Kindle. But I'm loving this book that I'm reading on here. This feels like one that I want to have in my like physical library, but then if there's some books where I'm like, I just kind of like want to see what this is about, I don't necessarily want to have like a physical copy of it, then I can just get it on my Kindle. If it's like okay, but I'm like, I'm not really fussed about having it in a physical library, then I can just like not have the physical copy, I can just have the Kindle. But yeah, I might read a few chapters of this current fiction book that I'm reading. I wish I could tell you the name, but essentially it's about vampires. It's kind of giving Hunger Games, Fourth Wing vibes. Deadly Education, if you've read Deadly Education, it kind of gives vibes of that. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So listening to peaceful music, and I have a cup of licorice tea.